Heartwarming Billionaire discovers incredible truth about abandoned twins. Their life-changing journey will inspire you. Jack Carson stepped off the private jet with a heart heavy from the weight of his father's death. The glare of the bright Midwest sun didn't warm him. Instead, it illuminated the cracks of his past, reminding him of childhood summers spent riding bikes down tree-lined avenues, laughter, and the sweet scent of homemade pies from the local bakery. Things that felt like whispers now, drowned out by the clamor of high-stakes business meetings and lonely hotel rooms. As he turned onto Main Street, he felt like a ghost haunting familiar places. The quaint shops looked the same, but there was a hollowness in the air that choked him. At the center of town stood the dilapidated community center where he spent countless hours, once vibrant and alive. Now, it appeared weary and forgotten. Its broken windows were a metaphor for his own fractured relationship with his father, marked by unyielding standards that always seemed just beyond his reach. It was here he first encountered Emma and Ethan, 12-year-old twins with sun-kissed skin and big, hopeful eyes that sparkled like the summer sky. They were rummaging through a box of old toys, laughter punctuating the silence of the faded walls, sounds that tugged at something deep inside Jack. But he remained aloof, wrapped in his own grief, blind to the resilience radiating from the children. As days passed, Jack found himself drawn to the twins. They carried an indomitable spirit that made him want to shake off the chains of his lavish but ultimately isolating existence. He began to listen when they spoke of their dreams, education, a better life, each word igniting long-buried embers of hope within him. He started to think maybe he could be part of this world again, a world where dreams were not just fantasies but achievable goals. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. But Jack's offer to help the community center met skepticism. A cloud of class divide hung over him, and he felt the distance that wealth had carved between them. The twins didn't shy away. Instead, they urged him to consider what genuine assistance meant. It was about empowering people, they reminded him, not just throwing money at problems. The crisis came when the threat of losing the community center emerged, a lifeline for so many, including Emma and Ethan. Panic gripped Jack as he watched the tremors of despair run through the community. In that moment of turmoil, he discovered a family secret that shattered his very foundations. Emma and Ethan were his long-lost cousins. In that crowded, dusty room, Jack felt the weight of his family history crash down like an avalanche, years of separation and pain that he had never known. He stood at the crossroads of despair and hope. Could he embrace this shocking truth and redefine family when shadows of the past loomed so large? As Jack stared at the twins, the intensity of his emotions surged. Would he be able to save the community center and, in doing so, perhaps save himself? The answer hung in the air like an unanswered prayer, urging him to step forward into an uncertain but potentially redemptive future. The following morning arrived with an unexpected clarity that pierced through the fog of Jack's confusion. Sunlight streamed through the window, casting hopeful patterns on the worn wooden floorboards, and as he sat on the edge of his bed, he felt the pull of determination deep within him. Emma and Ethan needed him, and more importantly, he needed them, too. Deciding to pay a visit to the community center first thing, Jack dressed quickly, his usual tailored attire replaced with jeans and a simple t-shirt. He wanted to shed the billionaire's uniform that had defined him and step into his role as a man ready to embrace both his past and present. As he drove down the familiar streets, memories flooded back, flickers of joy intertwined with shadows of regret. The vibrant trees lining the road waved at him like old friends, their green leaves whispering secrets of resilience and new beginnings. When he arrived at the community center, the air buzzed with energy. The twins were already there, organizing toys and writing motivational quotes on a chalkboard in colorful chalk. Their enthusiasm was infectious, and a grin broke across Jack's face as he stepped inside. He was greeted with the sights and sounds of life that filled the center: kids laughing, volunteers chatting, warmth radiating from the heart of a once crumbling institution now teetering on revival. "Jack! You came!" Emma exclaimed, her face lighting up as she rushed to him. Ethan followed, a mischievous grin on his face and an armful of colorful blocks. "I couldn't stay away," Jack replied, kneeling to embrace them both. In that warm moment, barriers began to unravel, slowly reweaving the fabric of his heart. "What's the plan today?" Jack asked, eager to dive into the work ahead. "We're brainstorming ways to save the center," Ethan replied confidently. "We're thinking bake sales, car washes, maybe even a talent show." The excitement in their voices overwhelmed him. These children, who faced uncertainty on a daily basis, stood strong and ready to tackle challenges head-on. Their willingness to fight ignited something within Jack. "Let's do it," he said, his voice steady, but the weight of responsibility tugged at him. "I'll help however I can. But I need your ideas, too. We're in this together." The twins exchanged glances, exhilarated by the prospect of partnership. As they began sharing ideas and jotting them down on a big piece of paper, an unsettling thought bubbled to the surface of Jack's mind. Would his involvement be enough? Did he have the capability to truly lead a community as fractured as this one? Just then, a voice interrupted his spiraling thoughts. It was Mrs. Lawson, a longtime community leader who had always seen potential everywhere, even in life's messiest corners. "Jack, we need to talk about the funding issue. There are rumors the center might be sold," she started, her voice laced with concern. Immediately, Jack felt the air thicken with tension. The looming threat of losing the community center hung over them like a storm cloud. He couldn't allow that to happen. "Let me see what I can do," he replied firmly, an ember of resolve burning in his chest. As the discussions continued, Jack felt his heart racing. He could almost taste the challenge ahead. This was no longer just about the center. This was about family, connection, and what it truly meant to rise from ashes of the past. As excitement swirled in the room, a question nagged at him: was he truly ready for the responsibility of family, of community, or would his efforts only end in heartbreak? The room buzzed with ideas, laughter, and hope, yet Jack felt the weight of his indecision. What happens next could change everything, but were he and the twins prepared for the upheaval ahead? As dusk approached, he understood that the first step toward resolving the storm was recognizing the very real chance of loss. Could he lead them out of the darkness? As the day wore on, Jack found himself caught between excitement and a mounting anxiety. The energy in the community center was contagious, but the stakes were more significant than any bake sale or car wash. That realization hit him like a wave, threatening to drag him under. He watched the twins, their faces alight with dreams and ideas, and felt a surge of love for them both. Word spread quickly through the center, igniting a fire in the community. Volunteers arrived, drawn by the promise of reimagining the place they held dear. Old friends embraced, while new faces mingled in the bustling activity. Jack smiled, but he felt a twinge of fear as he overheard conversations about the funding cuts. His resolve was being tested before it even had the chance to blossom. Mrs. Lawson's voice broke through his thoughts again. "Jack, we need to gather more resources. If we can show the community means business, maybe we can convince the city council to change their minds." Her eyes were piercing, filled with hope but sprinkled with worry. He nodded, determination sharpening in his gut. "Let's set up a meeting with local businesses. If we pitch them on the importance of this center, maybe they'll help." As the ideas flowed, Jack felt a sense of purpose bubbling up within him. Each smile, each moment of laughter shared with Emma and Ethan reminded him why he was here. To provide not just for them, but for a community longing to reconnect. While they mapped out their plans, he decided to take a break from the hustle. Stepping outside, Jack let the warmth of the falling sun wash over him. The sky shifted from vibrant blue to a soft hue of orange and purple, mirroring the transformation blooming within him. He'd been lost. But standing here, he felt a flicker of hope. The chance for something beautiful was now within reach. "Hey!" Emma called out, peeking through the door. "Come on." Ethan's showing everyone his magic tricks. Jack chuckled, his heart swelling. "Magic tricks?" "Yeah. The type that makes people giggle," Ethan added, bouncing on his toes inside. "All right, I'm coming." Jack grinned as he made his way back inside, his worries momentarily set aside. The room was filled with laughter as Ethan stood in front of the small crowd, dramatically revealing tricks that left all the kids squealing in delight. There was something genuine about this moment. Their joy was contagious, knocking on the doors of Jack's heart. As the laughter echoed, Jack caught the eyes of Mrs. Lawson across the room. She had been such a well of wisdom and strength for the community. He thought about how she had fought countless battles to keep this place alive and thriving. Could she lead them out of the storm? Would the heart of the community be strong enough to rally together? "Jack." Emma's voice broke through his thoughts again. "Come see." He's about to make this card disappear. And so he turned back to the eager crowd, embracing the simplicity of their joy. But deep inside, his pulse quickened as another thought hissed through: what if this was just an illusion? What would happen if they couldn't save the center after all? As the laughter faded and magic tricks turned into discussions about planning their big fundraising events, Jack felt the pressure mounting once more. Could they truly rally enough support? Could they really save the community center? As dusk descended, wrapping its cool arms around them, Jack knew he had to dig deeper. The laughter around him faded into the background as a courage silently bubbled up from within. He could not just be a spectator. He needed to become the leader everyone thought he could be. As the shadows grew longer, one question reverberated in his mind: would he rise to this occasion, or would he falter when the stakes were highest? With every heartbeat echoing in his ears, Jack understood that he was standing at the beginning of a journey that could either lead to hope or despair. What lay ahead would require every ounce of will he could muster, and in that moment, he realized he needed to know more about the storm brewing just out of sight. What was really at stake? Jack felt the weight on his shoulders as he surveyed the lively atmosphere in the community center. Voices buzzed around him, filling the space with excitement mixed with urgency. He took a deep breath and focused on the conversations swirling like leaves in the wind. "We should reach out to the local newspaper. Get some publicity," someone suggested. Jack nodded, feeling a spark of hope ignite. They needed every advantage they could muster to rally support. "Absolutely," Mrs. Lawson chimed in. "If people see how important this center is to the community, they'll want to help." She looked at Jack with an encouraging smile, and he felt a sense of camaraderie budding, as if they were all soldiers preparing for a crucial battle. Amidst the chatter, Ethan was still captivating the crowd. The last trick had ended with a flourish that left everyone breathless, and now he was surveying the troop of young faces that hung on his every word, visibly glowing in the aftermath of his performance. Jack watched the twins and caught Emma's infectious laughter, her eyes bright and full of hope. In moments like these, Jack wondered if they even understood the gravity of what was happening around them. Look at them, he thought. They need this place. Suddenly, Jack's phone buzzed in his pocket, jolting him from his reverie. He pulled it out, heart racing as he read the message, a text from an old high school friend, Mark. "Hey, Jack. Heard about the center situation. I want to help. Let's chat." The rush of warmth that spread through him was overwhelming. It was not just Mark, it was a lifeline. Jack felt the stirrings of something greater than himself. "Maybe this is the push we need," he whispered under his breath, excitement flooding his thoughts. "Jack." Mrs. Lawson's voice broke through once more. "We've got everything mapped out for our first meeting with the businesses for Monday." Her delighted enthusiasm was infectious, and suddenly, Jack could see it a glimmer of hope. This wasn't just about saving a building, it was about saving a community's soul. "Are you all right?" Emma asked, glancing up at him with concern. Her small hand tugged at his sleeve. Yeah, I'm good," he replied, forcing a smile. "Just thinking. About the center." Ethan chimed in. It's gonna be awesome, right? Right, Jack said, feeling the unease eclipse him for a moment. But he took a breath and felt his resolve harden again. He had to lead by example. You know what? It will be awesome. We're going to make it great. With that, he gathered everyone's attention and spoke up. All right, team. Let us put our hearts into this. We've got work to do, and I know we can do it together. The room erupted into cheers and laughter again. Jack felt a sudden rush of energy from the group. It could be the turning point they needed. They brainstormed and shouted ideas, the atmosphere electric with hope and ideas, yet as the night wore on, a voice flickered in the back of his mind, a nagging doubt. What if the businesses don't care? What if we fail? As they wrapped up their planning, Jack felt anxious with the thought that tomorrow would bring their first real test. Every face around him held a glimmer of trust, but what if they were let down? Would he have the strength to support them through disappointment? He didn't have the answer, but he knew there was no turning back. This was his chance to stand up, not just for the center but for the community he had long taken for granted, and as the last of the laughter faded, a gritty determination settled in his gut. Would he really face the truth head-on? What awaited him when they stepped into the world outside this safe haven? He could only hope that the foundation of trust he'd built would hold them steady through the storms ahead. Jack woke up the next morning to the sun streaming through his bedroom window, bathing the walls in a warm golden hue. He felt different today, lighter yet heavier at the same time. It was strange, knowing that the day ahead wasn't just another mundane Saturday, but a pivotal moment for the community center he loved. As he prepared for the day, he couldn't shake the anxious pit in his stomach. What if today was a flop? He mentally replayed his conversation with Mark, wondering what kind of help he was really offering. Would he even show up? Determined to push the doubts aside, Jack dressed quickly and made his way to the community center. The usual chatter and laughter were replaced by an air of focused anticipation. He found Mrs. Lawson deep in conversation with a couple of local business owners, each holding steaming cups of coffee as the smell wafted through the air, mingling with the scent of the morning pastries made earlier. Jack took a deep breath, feeling the gravity of the day settle upon him. Good morning, everyone. He called out, forcing enthusiasm into his voice. They looked up, their expressions a mix of hope and angst. He could see that they were all feeling the weight of expectation. He wasn't alone. Ready for today? Ethan asked as he approached, his energy as bright as ever. Yeah, just trying to. Jack trailed off, glancing around the room, noting how the crowd seemed to draw strength from one another. I want to nail this meeting. Just be yourself. They'll see how much this place matters, Ethan replied, giving him a reassuring clap on the back. Somehow, the simple gesture lifted a small part of the weight from Jack's shoulders. As more local business owners arrived, Jack felt the energy in the room shift. There was a collective nervousness that bubbled beneath the surface, a heartbeat of hope and desperation. Each face had its own story, its own connection to the community center, like threads woven into a single tapestry of life. All right, everyone. Let us gather round, Mrs. Lawson beckoned. Jack stepped forward, heart pounding as he stood in front of the group. He could feel the eyes of his friends and neighbors upon him. Today's a big day, he began, his voice steady and resonant. This center isn't just a building. It's a home for all of us. It's where we laughed, cried, and grew together. We're here to show these business owners how vital this place is for our community. As he spoke, he noticed the mingling of anxious expressions soften into smiles, their worries shared in the moment. Jack could feel the warmth of connection ignite within him. If we rally together, we can save this center. And I believe that with all my heart. The chatter resumed, bursting with excitement as everyone shared ideas, their fears dissipating, replaced with a hopeful light. Just then, the door swung open, and in walked Mark, a warm smile blooming on his face. Jack felt his breath hitch. Sorry I'm late, but I thought I might bring a few friends. Mark stepped aside, revealing a small group of community advocates from their hometown, all eager to lend a helping hand. The energy shifted dramatically, morphing from uncertainty to optimism. Jack felt an overwhelming surge of gratitude. The room erupted in a chorus of cheers, laughter blending into a symphony of hope. Yet, amidst the rising tide of excitement, Jack sensed a flicker of uncertainty. What elaborate schemes lay behind their seemingly open hearts? Were they doing this for true community connection, or was there something else in play? The question nagged at him, but he pushed it aside for the moment, wanting to ride this wave of enthusiasm. With new energy revitalizing the crowd, their ideas flowed freely, and Jack watched as the vision for the center expanded beyond his imagination. But with each innovative idea shared, an unease creeped back into his mind. What if their trust in those around them was a fragile illusion? As the meeting progressed, Jack felt excitement mingle with apprehension. Was he ready to face not just the community's hope but the weight of hidden motives? Would they truly make a difference, or was this just the beginning of harder trials to come? He knew deep down that the answers were just around the corner, lurking beyond today's bright horizon. Would he be able to uncover the truth and lead them all to safety? As the meeting rolled into its second hour, ideas flowed like a rushing river, creating a tapestry of possibilities that filled Jack with a sense of purpose he hadn't felt in a long time. Conversations flared up, passing like notes in a classroom, each suggestion sparking another, but with every idea floated, Jack's heart sank a little deeper into the pit of uncertainty. He observed the faces around him, each one glowing with hope, while the back of his mind whispered dark doubts. What if it was all a front? What if those advocating for the community center had their own agendas hidden behind friendly smiles? Ethan nudged him lightly, breaking through his spiraling thoughts. "Hey, you okay?" Jack nodded, though it felt forced. "Yeah, just a lot to take in." They were drafting plans for a fundraiser, brainstorming ways to appeal to larger businesses, and pooling resources to spread the word. Mark was actively facilitating collaboration, his spirit infectious, but Jack couldn't shake his apprehension. "Do you think they're really in it for us?" he asked quietly. Ethan paused, his brow furrowing. "I think we need to trust them for now. If we focus on the community, that's what truly matters. We can't let fear hold us back." Jack took a breath, allowing himself to let the warmth of Ethan's optimism seep in, if only a little. "You're right. Let us give it some time." Just as daylight illuminated the room through the big windows, filling it with hope, the solid thud of the front door echoed. A taller figure stepped in, commanding immediate attention. It was Tom, the local real estate mogul known for his influence. "Mind if I join?" Tom's booming voice filled the air with a mixture of authority and charm. A few murmurs of concern rippled through the crowd. Tom was known for making waves, not ripples. "Tom!" Mrs. Lawson exclaimed, her tone laced with a cautious warmth. "We're just discussing how we can better serve our community." "Perfect. I love community service," he replied with a sly grin. "And I happen to know a lot about funding opportunities." Jack's eyebrows shot up. The air in the room thickened as everyone exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of excitement and concern. Trusting Tom would be a gamble, but his wealth could mean a lifeline for the center. Still, Jack's gut twisted at the idea. This wasn't just about money, it was about heart. "Tell us more," Mark encouraged, stepping into the role of mediator. Tom wasted no time outlining his vision, filled with lofty promises about transforming the community center into a hub for innovation, creativity, and opportunity if they played their cards right. As he spoke, Jack found himself torn between the allure of Tom's grand plans and the unease gnawing at his mind. "What's the catch?" Jack finally blurted out, his voice rising above the growing buzz of enthusiasm. The room fell silent, all eyes on him. Tom raised an eyebrow, surprised yet intrigued. "No catch, just opportunity. A chance to elevate this place," he replied, every word dripped in charm as if he was offering free candy, but Jack wasn't convinced. "And what do you expect in return?" An awkward pause followed. Tom's smile faltered for just a moment before he responded. "Nothing but gratitude and a few favors here and there." The room erupted in quiet whispers, some leaned in with curiosity, while others recoiled at the implications. Jack could feel the tension snap, anxiety dancing in the air like a live wire. Could they truly trust Tom's intentions, or was this the faltering beginning of something larger, a dependence that could weaken their community? As discussions resumed, Jack stole glances at Ethan, who seemed oblivious to the undertone of trepidation swirling around. Was he missing something, or had anyone else felt that chilling sense of doubt? With the future of the community center hanging in the balance, Jack found himself standing at a crossroads, where his intuition pricked at him, urging him to dig deeper. What if this connection with Tom wasn't the beacon of hope it appeared to be? The longer they talked, the more Jack realized. He needed to protect not only the center but the people bound to it, a mission both daunting and fiercely energizing. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was about to dive into waters far murkier than he had ever anticipated, and deep down, he knew one thing was certain: answers lay ahead, cloaked in a mystery he needed to uncover. As the meeting pushed forward, so did Jack's resolve to stand vigilant. What were Tom's real intentions, lurking just beneath the surface? Jack's gaze drifted back to the meeting table, but his mind wandered. Tom's presence had shaken the air in the room, an electric unease laced with curiosity. Discussions continued, but Jack felt like a spectator in his own life, weighed down by a growing instinct to dig deeper. Jack. Ethan's voice pulled him back. You all right? You look like you just saw a ghost. Yeah, just thinking, Jack said softly, forcing a smile. His fingers drummed the surface of the table, a silent tick-tock of racing thoughts. Could Tom be trusted? Every seasoned part of him screamed to tread carefully, but the hope glimmering in everyone else's eyes made him question whether he was holding them back. I know you're worried, Ethan continued, leaning in closer. But what if he really wants to help? He wants something in return, Jack replied, lowering his voice. We need to stay smart about this. Ethan nodded, but the optimism hadn't faded from his features. We'll figure it out together. Let us see where this goes. As the meeting pressed on, members began noting down ideas and forming groups. Mark had taken to Tom's presence with enthusiasm, drafting plans that resembled blueprints for a future he wanted desperately to believe in. But as excitement swelled, Jack felt a tightening in his chest. He couldn't just let it go unchecked that he slipped outside for a moment, needing to breathe. The golden sun hung low in the sky, casting warm rays on the community center. Outside, kids played on the swings, their laughter a pure reminder of why they were all here. Jack couldn't let that innocence be exploited. Jack! A familiar voice called. It was Mrs. Lawson, arms crossed and eyebrows raised. She joined him on the porch, her presence an immediate comfort. You seemed a bit out of it in there. Everything okay? Honestly? I don't know what Tom's really after, he said, running a hand through his hair. He talks a good game, but you sense something beneath the surface, she finished for him, her eyes narrowing thoughtfully. It's wise to be cautious. This community deserves a leader, not a manipulator. Jack exhaled. Exactly. I don't want to see this place become a pawn in someone else's game. Then don't let it, she replied firmly. You're strong. Use that to guide others, keep the heart of this community intact. Her words ignited something in him. You're right. I need to confront this head-on. They returned inside, the buzz of conversation filling the air again. Jack's resolve intensified, tightening around his heart like a fist. He could be the catalyst that protected his neighbors and friends from falling into a trap. But he knew he would need proof. As the plans unfolded, Jack whispered to Ethan, meet me after. I think I need to dig into Tom's background. Are you sure? Ethan asked, concern flashing across his face. It could get complicated. I have to know, Jack replied. If he's the real deal or just another player in a bigger game. With a determined nod, Ethan agreed, but Jack felt a prickle of anxiety at the edge of his mind. What if he uncovered something dark? As the meeting wrapped up, Jack's heart raced. He needed to follow the threads, unravel this mystery before it could entangle the community. And just when he thought he had grounded himself, something in the way Tom smiled at the group sent an icy shiver down his spine like a wolf among sheep. Jack had to find out. What secrets could he uncover, and what impact would it have on the center he cherished so dearly? The dim hallway of the community center felt both familiar and unsettling as Jack hurried to the rear office where Tom had set up his temporary command center. Papers were strewn across the desk, and the soft hum of a laptop screen lit the gloom. Jack steeled himself, pushing the door open with a slight creak. Tom looked up, his charming smile still intact. "Hey, Jack. I didn't think you'd stop by. Join me." Jack forced a smile in return but felt the weight of trepidation pulling at his insides. "We need to talk about you." "Me?" Tom chuckled, leaning back in his chair. "What's on your mind?" Jack swallowed hard, taking a step closer. "I need to understand who you really are. What brought you here?" Tom's smile faltered for just a second, but he quickly regained his composure. "I'm just a guy looking to make a difference, Jack. You know how tough things can get out there. I want to help. Help or take advantage." Jack's voice was firm. He couldn't let his guard down, not now. "Everyone in this community believes in you. But I won't let them get hurt." "And I appreciate your concern," Tom replied smoothly, but there was a cool edge to his voice. "Perhaps you should trust them a little more. There's a lot of good here, after all." "Trust is earned," Jack shot back. "Not just given." The atmosphere crackled as they stood locked in a battle of wills. Jack had hoped to find a vulnerable side to the man, evidence of his intentions. Instead, he felt like he was in the presence of a skilled performer. A sudden knock broke the tension. Ethan peeked in. "Is everything okay?" he asked, sensing the charged air. "Just getting to know Tom better," Jack replied, keeping his tone light despite the uncertainty swirling in his gut. "Perfect timing," Tom said, but as he spoke, his eyes shifted to Jack with a flicker of something. Was it annoyance? "Maybe we should focus on the plans for the community center instead of digging up dirt on newcomers." "Maybe," Jack said, "but the community's well-being comes first." Tom's laughter rang through the small office, but it held no warmth. "You really think you can keep everyone safe by mistrusting me? That's quite noble. But tell me, do you really believe you're strong enough to handle the truth?" "Some truths can hurt, Jack." Jack's heart raced. What did he mean? A chilling thought crept through his mind. Could there be something darker at play? Something connected to Tom that could shake the very foundations of their community. Feeling the weight of those words, Jack's resolve hardened. "I'm not afraid of the truth." Ethan exchanged a nervous glance with Jack before looking at Tom. "What truth are we missing?" "Let us not distract ourselves with unfounded accusations," Tom responded, a hint of sharpness creeping in. "I suggest we focus on the big picture and work together." But Jack wasn't ready to give in. Instead of answering, he turned back to Ethan and whispered, "Let us go. We need to search deeper into his past." As they stepped back into the hallway, the weight of uncertainty pressed heavily on Jack's mind. Ethan followed closely, worry etched across his face. "What are you thinking?" "I don't know yet. But something doesn't feel right," Jack admitted, glancing back at the office where Tom sat, a puppet master cloaked in friendly smiles. They both marched out of the community center, resolve brewing in Jack's heart. But even as they walked away, a sinking feeling loomed, telling him that the answers they were seeking would not come easily. What had Tom done before arriving here, and what shadows lay behind those persuasive glances? Jack felt a fire building inside him. He would find out, no matter the cost. And with a final glance over his shoulder, Jack knew one thing: the real battle had only just begun. The cool night air enveloped Jack and Ethan as they stepped out of the community center. The familiar sounds of the neighborhood seemed to resonate with urgency now, and the once comforting glow of streetlights felt too bright against the gathering shadows. Jack took a deep breath, the chill cutting through him. "We need a plan," he muttered, pulling Ethan closer. "Are you sure we should be doing this?" Ethan hesitated, rubbing the back of his neck as if trying to shake off lingering doubts. "What if Tom catches wind of it?" Jack shook his head. "Then we find out what he's hiding before he knows we're on to him. If he's playing us, we can't just sit back and let it happen. We owe it to everyone." Jack had always been someone who took charge, a natural leader when it came to protecting the people he cared about. But this? This felt different. It felt dangerous. The stakes were higher than they'd ever been, and he sensed the fragile heartbeat of their community teetering on a precipice. "Okay, what's our first step?" Ethan sounded more determined now, his brow furrowing in concentration. "We'll start with the town archives," Jack said. "There must be something there about Tom's past. Maybe where he came from, who he was before all this." He recalled the dusty shelves that held the town's history. If there were any secrets buried in that building, they would dig them out. The two headed towards the small, brick library just a few blocks away. The town archives were located in the back, nearly forgotten amidst rows of books and old newspapers. Jack could feel his heart thumping in anticipation as they neared their destination. As they entered, the musty smell of old paper filled his lungs. The faint sound of crumpled leaves outside echoed in the silence. Jack knew they had to be quick. He led Ethan to the back room and flipped on a desk lamp. The flickering light cast an eerie glow, accentuating the shadows that danced upon the walls filled with historical artifacts, remnants of a time long gone. "Look for anything related to events or people Tom might be connected to," Jack instructed, excitement bubbling up with each moment they spent in the archives. "Something that hints at his past." As Ethan started going through old newspaper clippings, Jack rifled through boxes of dusty documents. Minutes turned into what felt like hours, and then Ethan called out, causing Jack to whirl around with hope. "Jack! You need to see this." Ethan had found a faded article with a grainy photograph of a community event. The headline read, "New Faces Bring Change to Our Town." Beneath it, there was a brief mention of a charity event that had taken place decades earlier, featuring a younger Tom amid an impressive lineup of local heroes. But the undercurrent was sinister. One of the people who helped run the charity had mysteriously vanished shortly after. Jack's gut tightened. "This must mean something. We need to find out about this disappearance," he said, his pulse quickening. Before they could dig deeper, the door creaked open. Both jumped, turning to see the librarian, an elderly lady with sharp eyes and a skeptical expression. "You boys are trespassing in here after hours," she warned, her voice steady but the hint of worry bubbling beneath the surface. "We were just," Jack stammered but paused, realizing that if they were caught, it could blow everything they had worked for. "Look," the librarian said, softening her tone. "I've seen too much over the years to ignore a bad vibe. If you're looking into Tom, you might want to tread carefully." Jack met her gaze. "You know something about him?" She hesitated, studying their faces before nodding. "You just might not be ready for the truth you're looking for." The air crackled with tension. Jack felt the weight of her words hang between them, heavy and foreboding. "What do you mean?" he asked, heart racing, but before she could respond, a loud crash echoed outside, followed by shouts. Jack's instincts kicked in, adrenaline flooding his veins. Whatever was happening outside, Tom's shadow loomed closer, and they were standing at the edge of something much larger than they had ever anticipated. What truth was hidden in the darkness of their community? Jack glanced at Ethan, determination set in his eyes. They would find out, no matter the cost, and as they stepped out into the chaos, a palpable urgency swirled around them. What they uncovered next might just change everything. The chaos outside was palpable, suffocating even. Jack and Ethan rushed through the library's back door, bursting into the fading twilight. The sounds of shouting, clattering metal, and the relentless sirens of law enforcement merged into a storm of panic. "Stay close," Jack called to Ethan, his pulse racing faster than his feet. Just as they rounded the corner, the sight before them turned Jack's stomach. A group of locals had gathered near the community center, faces drawn tight with fear. In the center of it all stood Tom, his composure jarring amidst the turmoil. He was arguing heatedly with Mrs. Lawson, hands waving, voice rising. "Why won't you listen? You're risking everything for this old building," Tom shouted, his charm replaced with a harsh edge. Mrs. Lawson stood her ground, steadfast, eyes glimmering with defiance. "People deserve a chance, Tom. Not just your plans for profit," she countered, her voice unwavering despite the growing crowd. Jack glanced at Ethan, heart pounding. This was the moment they had feared, the confrontation no one wanted but everyone needed. "We have to step in," Jack said, determination ignited in his chest. Together, they pushed through the throng, their hearts synchronized with courage. As they made their way to the front, Jack felt the surge of voices, a mixture of anger, confusion, and desperate hope. Each step echoed with the urgency of a community on the brink. "People of this community," Jack began, once again finding the leader within himself. All eyes turned toward him, a heavy silence settling as they awaited his words. "This isn't just about a building, it's about us. About family, dreams, and the right to shape our own future." Ethan's voice chimed in, steady and clear. "We're not here to fight. We're here to empower, to inspire, but we have to do it together." The eyes watching them shifted, the weight of uncertainty rippling through the crowd. Tom scoffed, clearly agitated. "You think you can rally this ragtag group into something? You don't even understand what you're getting into." "Maybe you don't understand," Jack countered, unwavering, fueled by the love he felt for this community and the twins who had shown him what connection truly meant. "You came here with a plan, but you forgot one key ingredient: us. We want to let you take that away." A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, encouragement to push back against the fear that bound them. Jack felt a fierce warmth ignite in his chest. They were standing together, fighting for what mattered. As the tension in the air shifted noticeably, Mrs. Lawson stepped forward. "Jack's right. We have been fighting for this center, for this community, because we believe in it. Tom, we need transparency. We need to know your intentions." Tom narrowed his eyes, a flicker of unease crossing his face. The crowd began to unite under their shared purpose, spirits rising like a phoenix from the ashes. "Tom, we're ready to defend our home," Jack declared. "What do you really want?" For a heartbeat, silence enveloped them. Then, Tom's bravado faltered under the collective gaze. I just saw potential," he stammered. Ethan didn't let up. "But at what cost? You're wanting control, not partnership. We will not be manipulated." The crowd erupted in agreement, voices merging into a chorus of loyalty and bravery. Jack's heart soared with hope, as he saw the shift their ties were strengthening, healing old wounds of division. The weight of Tom's facade crumbled as more voices joined in, truths flowed freely, followed by stories that reminded them all that community was forged through shared experiences and faith in one another. Finally, Tom took a step back. "Fine, I see you want to resolve this peacefully," he conceded, but determination still firmed up his tone. "But if I can't have a stake in this, I'll find another way." Another wave of fear lashed through the crowd. But Jack stood firm. "You will not divide us. You think you can come in here and play us? We know our worth." As Tom retreated, it was the bonds of community that shielded them. Jack turned to the gathered crowd, beaming with pride, humbled by their resilience. "From today forward, we fight not just for this center, but for each other. We will create something beautiful together." Cheers erupted, filling the night air, drowning out the recent tension. The thrumming sound of unity wrapped around Jack like a warm embrace. Emma and Ethan broke through the crowd, their faces lit with joy, the spirit of hope brighter than ever. Jack knelt, enveloping the twins in a powerful hug. "We did this." The emotion swelled within him. This was the moment where fear transformed into action, insecurities into courage, and as the night carried on with laughter and renewed spirit, Jack made a silent vow to protect not just their physical space but the heart of their community. Days and weeks followed, filled with fundraisers, laughter, and tears, memories woven together in their growing tapestry. In the end, Jack uncovered the truth about not only Tom but the importance of trust. They would rebuild their home, patching it together with the love they had for each other, a legacy they would nurture together. As the community center flourished, they learned one irrefutable truth: family isn't defined by blood, but by those who stand by you in moments of darkness, ready to rise together. And the fire that had ignited in Jack's heart burned brighter than any previous doubt, for now, he understood the profound strength found in unity, a heart full of love, hope, and family. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep your favorite tales alive. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending. Share your thoughts, we want to hear from you. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. True fans know how important it is to support the channel through these actions.